the stage is being set for Cleveland to be trapped. They're in the, and maybe that's why you saw the looks on them people's faces when they drafted them, because for good or for bad, they're trapped.
You know what I think part of it was? Tell me if this is a crazy thought. Clearly, it was a Jimmy Haslam decision. I think part of the motivation was this helps drown out some of the negative coverage over the Deshaun Watson debacle. Because, as you pointed out, this is all we're seeing.
That's all you see.
Have you seen any Dylan Gabriel
Have you seen any of his throws? Have you seen any of his throws?
I don't even. Dylan Gabriel could have changed and gone right-handed in camp. I would have known.
Is Kenny Pickett, is he still on the team? Where's he at? Ain't seen S from Kenny Pickett.
And also, you don't hear a damn thing about Deshaun Watson, do you, other than his bachelor party?
The one thing we saw with come on, the starter. Who's the starter?
Flacco.
The one thing we saw with Joe Flacco is him saying he doesn't want to be a mentor. He's there to start. And then the highlight of him and Shedeur Sanders, and Shedeur was doing some type of dance and was trying to get Flacco to do the dance, and Flacco was like, I'm gonna go throw this ball. Like, I'm gonna go QB this player too.
Yeah.
You know? It's just interesting because Cleveland is in a bad spot. If Shedeur Sanders isn't at worst the backup, they are going to fry the media because of what they feel coming out of the draft and how they covered it and how they've been shamed and made to feel like y'all took advantage of Shedeur Sanders. Y'all drove a whole entire draft off of Shedeur Sanders, and they're right. Whoever's saying it, you're right. If Shedeur Sanders at worst isn't the backup on this team, there's going to be hell to pay through the media. At best, if I am the head coach, the GM, and the owner of this team, I'm naming Shedeur Sanders my starter today. Today. You know why? Joe Flacco, love you to death. You gave us a good little run. You're a Raven. Kick rocks. Kenny Pickett, you ain't shown us that you that good at all. You here for an insurance policy. Kick rocks. Dylan Gabriel, we took you with the third round pick. We feel really good about what you could possibly be, but do we ever see you as a starter? I don't know. It's a strong possibility that you're not a starter for our franchise. It's a very strong possibility, but my goodness, you probably can be a really, really good backup for us at some point in time. If I'm the Cleveland Browns, if you're looking at the coverage of Shedeur Sanders and the way all of this is kind of being properly placed on the table, you about to get served if you don't see this coming. Just name him the starter today. Name him the starter and let him do what he's going to do. For good, for bad, or worse, whatever it is, allow for him to do it because you drafted him. You drafted him. And it makes you start to think, did he drop in the draft because of his talent, or did he drop in the draft because of his fame? That's the conclusion I've been coming to lately. It's his fame and it's his influence. You do not want – when you heard Stephen A. call that man comparable to Colin Kaepernick, you have now made this a racial, cultural comparison in terms of why this man isn't being respected as a talent. You've taken it out of the realm of being a player and being a pro, and you've placed it in the social and cultural expectations of a cultural and social and racially driven and activated America right now. It's dangerous. That's dangerous.
The conversations surrounding Shedeur have kind of muddied the waters on the evaluation of Shedeur. And I don't know how to separate the two from the standpoint of I'm not sure if he dropped in the draft because of talent or because of other stuff off the field. Because it's not like he's been I don't recall him ever getting arrested. I don't recall him ever getting suspended. I think they just are very vocal, very confident, and the Colorado program felt like a rock concert or a rap concert every time you went there. And it literally was. Like they literally had concert. So there was a spectacle surrounding it for a team that didn't really do anything other than improve significantly upon what they were before he got there and before his dad took over. So I don't know where the evaluation of him is as a player, and I don't know what to really legitimately expect as far as his role with this team, because if we get to the regular season and he's the third stringer or they've got him, sitting third string and he's, not suiting up for games,
they better win.
Yeah,
you better win.
I don't, but it's.
And think about the pressure you're putting on the starter. Think about the pressure you're putting on the backup.
Oh, look, I brought it up to Albert Breer last week, and I was just like, hey, man, I mean, if you're Stefanski, you're in a tough spot, dude. Like, you've now been given, right or wrong, 2 quarterbacks and a quarterback situation from your owner. One of them is impossible to succeed with because Deshaun Watson's not even playing anymore. And the other, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you start Joe Flacco and it's not going to be Shedeur Sanders, then people are going to be like, well, you're going to get pressure from, well, I mean, you're kind of a middle of the road team. Why not give the young guy a shot?
Imagine the storylines connected to that. How many different directions and angles can you come from talking about how the Cleveland Browns have handled that position in particular?
I'll say this. People can say whatever they want about preseason football. Tell me you're not going to watch those preseason games for the Browns this year. I'm in. I want to see him play. I want to see how this goes.
It makes it's just the expectation, the amount of attention as you're mentioning, it just raises the stakes so high. And it's a 5th round draft pick.
Yeah.
A 5th round draft pick. And he has been positioned. We have seen more highlights on ESPN, NFL Network, Fox Sports, FS1. We have seen more highlights of Shedeur, and this is important to understand this piece of it, because this small detail of it will become a ginormous detail as we move forward. You are seeing oversaturated coverage of a 5th round draft pick completing passes over and over and over and over again. You're watching a 5th rounder in practice, not a game. Not a game. Not full pads. He's in practice. And they keep showing you clips. Like you think of the one where the dude dove and caught it going into the end zone. Like, they creating NFL film highlights of Shedeur Sanders playing ball in practice and OTAs. We ain't even got the training camp. This ain't even training camp. Can you imagine the coverage on Shedeur Sanders when they get to training camp? They're going to have a Shedeur Sanders cam.
Look, I know that it wasn't possible because of whatever rules or restrictions it has, but that's why I said at the time, if you were HBO, if you could swap out the Bills for the Browns on Hard Knocks, would you not do it? Like, it'd be the best rated Hard Knocks they've had in years, because people want to see how this plays out. Man, how many completions have you seen Cam Ward throw, the number 1 pick in OTAs?
I haven't seen one.
Yeah.
I have not seen one highlight.
I don't even know
Ward.
if Jackson Dart's picked up a football yet. I have no idea.
I haven't. I've seen Jackson Dart getting a lot of love and a lot of coverage from the media especially from like the social media team of the Giants. Like, I pay attention to all this stuff. I sit on my phone and I look at all the stuff going on, what's hitting the algorithms and all this and sports and da-da-da and NFL or NBA. I look at all these things. I look all day long. Shedeur Sanders, the coverage on him is wild. It is WILD wild. I'm telling you. Think about it. You're going to stop. Everybody who's listening, you're going to stop. You're going to take a moment, and then you're going to take inventory, and then you're going to realize that Shedeur Sanders is being positioned to all of you to be the guy for the Cleveland Browns. And if he's not, it is going to be every single reason he was let down. There will not be one person that says Shedeur Sanders isn't the starter or the backup because somebody actually was better than him. Now, whether it's true or not, I think the travesty here, honestly, here is the true travesty of this situation. Shedeur Sanders is a hell of a football player. That young man can play some football. He's been a clutch kid since 8th grade. I know it because he played in my game. The problem that's going to take place here is that same pressure that is going to be applied to the Cleveland Browns and to the starting quarterback or who's ever in front of them. Multiply that by however many fold you want to as to what that's going to look like for Shedeur Sanders. Because just as much as they'll build you up in these types of moments, we paid it off. We paid it off. We did what we were supposed to do. We hoarded you. Draft came. We used you. We rode you. We attached the carts to Shedeur Sanders, and he delivered for our draft this year. You've been paid. We're even. He gets in there. Whatever comes next is going to be based upon what his results are when he gets that opportunity, if he gets that opportunity. It's almost seemingly better that he not get an opportunity immediately because he'll get more fanfare for being victimized than he will be for being the starter for the team. That's what's being set up. That's all of this. That's the travesty, because if he really is good, then he should be able to have the fair opportunity to be measured and weighed as being really good. I don't know that there is an environment that's being created for him to have a fair opportunity one way or the other.
It's too far down the road. It's too far down the road. And it goes back to that same discussion. Sometimes backups, if they're too loud, aren't good backups. It's almost to the point to where if he's named the number 2 behind Joe Flacco, all the questions are going to be, when's he going to get a chance? The Browns are sitting at, 4-8.
They can't outplay it.
Yeah.
You got to be, I would venture to say they might be undefeated and they still be saying they'd be better. They're setting themselves up for failure. And then the moment they lose, what are you going to be saying? I told you. If Shedeur was in there, they wouldn't have lost that one game.
And meanwhile, Jimmy Haslam's like, don't have to hear about Deshaun anymore.
Now you done brought in another one.
Hey, that's all we need.
You done brought in another one.
It is,
and this is not Shedeur Sanders' fault, by the way.
It's not
this
his
has
fault.
absolutely nothing to do with blaming Shedeur Sanders. This has everything to do with how media works, how politics work, how influencing works, and that's where we live. This is where we live right now, is that a 5th-round draft pick is so influential because of how strong and how clearly defined his brand is, that it has created this type of coverage, and that coverage will ultimately be the undoing of the Cleveland Browns this year if they're not careful.